Hello and welcome to a wonderful Thursday night. Tuesday night. Second of all, we are broadcasting American Muscle Series tonight. My name is Adam Thompson. I'm joined in the commentary booth by Brennan Horn, and you are watching Slow Motion Broadcasting. We are on Season 2, Race 12 and 13. Yeah, I know that looks a little bit weird, guys, but the reason it says that is because these are heat races tonight, Brennan. So we are having two 20-minute heat races with the top 10 inverted. We're not expecting any pit stops tonight, so what do you think that means for these Mustangs around this Brands Hatch circuit?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Well, this is going to cause a lot of excitement, I think. Very tight track with a lot of big cars, and of course, with the other races, you have an hour to make moves, and now you only have 20 minutes to make your moves. So I expect to see a lot of early moves and a little bit of aggression that we might not be completely used to seeing so early in different races.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I do want to say something real quick. We do have an interview before the race. Evan Hubchak's going to be joining us tonight. But if you look there at the bottom of your screen, you see it doesn't show Slow Motion Broadcasting's website tonight. It shows Randall McGrew's contact information, and he is looking for sponsors for his next season, Season 3. Just watch this race tonight, and you will understand why I don't need to give him any hype. This league gives him all the hype he needs and should get him all the sponsorship he needs. So please, if you guys are looking to sponsor an iRacing league, number one, to keep me in business, and number two, to keep American Muscle Series going, go ahead and hit up Randall at Randall McGrew, R McGrew at gmail.com. Or if you're on Discord, Finny, FINNI .McFinger, hashtag 6697. So, yeah, he's definitely looking for some sponsors, and we want him to get some. But with that being said, we do have Evan Hubchak here with us. We're going to bring him in and get a bit of a pre-race interview. Evan, welcome in.
Yeah, can you hear me okay? Got you guys.
Yeah, we got you, Evan. So, real quick, I was looking there in your practice, and you're not doing too bad up there. So, tell me what you're thinking about the track tonight.
I like this track a lot. The fun, flat, fast-flowing, tracks are fun with this car. Just trying to keep it clean. And, once the tires come to temp, you can, put some pretty decent laps in as long as you, keep it out of the grass.
Yeah, absolutely. That's for sure. And I'm going to hand you over to Brennan Horn because he knows quite a bit about this track as he runs Miatas. I'm pretty sure that's all he runs in iRacing. So I know Brennan's got some questions for you, Evan.
Sure.
Hey, Evan. So obviously at this track is very tight, and in the Miatas it's very tight, and I can only imagine that in the Mustangs it's going to be a lot tighter. And you only have 20 minutes now each race to, decide what moves you want to make. So you want to give us any insight into your strategy tonight in terms of, aggression or something like that?
Yeah, I'd say, very, very mild on the aggression. We'll see how quali goes. But, yeah, really just try and keep it clean, let the first few laps sort themselves out. There's not many places to pass, so you're almost relying on somebody in front of you making a mistake and trying to get a run that way. Forcing something here is just super tough.
I'm looking at the points here, and it shows you in P11. There's only a few rounds left of the season. Are there any goals that you want to hit in terms of points positions? I know that this could be a good night to make up some spots, and especially if there's a few incidents up ahead of you.
Yeah, top 10 would be great. Missed a few races, but everyone's got some drop races, so they may not be making too many points gains here. So yeah, hopefully I can pick up some spots.
Obviously, you've been practicing this track, and I haven't. Are there any trouble spots that you think are going to play a big role into the results of tonight's race, or does it look like it's going to be all around a pretty good one?
The quality of driving in this league is so good. This is my first season in the league, and just so impressed with, how clean it is, and then how fast it is at the same time. You have the trouble spots all over the track. It's tight, it's fast, but I would be surprised if there was anything too horrible out there.
Well, I got one last thing for you, Evan. Good luck. And is there anyone else that you want to thank tonight for your effort tonight?
Yeah, appreciate it. No, Randall, of course, for organizing the lead. You guys for broadcasting it. It's awesome that we're on. Just appreciate it.
Yeah, and
Sweet.
Evan, Go ahead. Sorry, Brendan.
No, I was going to hand it over to you.
Okay. Well, before I let you go, Evan, I want to, you're thanking us for broadcasting it, man, but the racing that goes on in this league, obviously Randall has put together a great league, but he can't do it without drivers like you. So, we hit a huge milestone for the Watkins Glen race. We got, right now we're at 2.4 thousand views on the American Muscle Series Watkins Glen race. So, again, can't do it without the drivers and the great racing you guys put on. So thank you very much for that. And we hope to talk to you here after one of the races.
Yep, that'd be great.
All right, sounds good. Good luck tonight, Evan.
All right, thanks, guys.
That was Evan Hubchak there. A little bit of a pre-race interview, watching him go in slow motion around the track as a tree gets in the way. But, so, I know you're used to these cars, Brennan. Honestly, when not these cars, but this track when it comes to the Miatas. But how much does that differ with, I know weight. How much does weight play a factor? It looks like a pretty curvy track.
Yeah, there's a lot of fast corners and a lot of, elevation changes too. Of course, we saw Watkins Glen breaking downhill is not this car's strong suit. We saw a couple of rear end accidents, which you can't really blame the drivers for. It's just, heavy car and not as strong brakes as you'd hope for in a heavy car like this. But the other thing could be different loads on the car mid corner. Of course, like I said, a lot of these are different elevation changes, and a lot of these are long corners with elevation change. And the slightest little dip in the road could cause the car to swing out a little bit. And if you have a lot of weight swinging out, it's a lot harder to save. So it could be a couple of tank slapper incidents and not much runoff at this track. There's a bit of grass, but of course, once you hit the grass, it's almost like you accelerate towards the wall. So hope to not see that tonight, but I think that could be some of the issues that we see.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it for sure. Right now, we're just watching some replays. Some of these guys driving around during their practice sessions because they're in their driver's meeting right now, and they will hop out for qualifying at 10 past the hour. So we have about 3 more minutes to kill, as it is now 8 past the hour. I'm not going to try to do math anymore tonight. But, right now we're riding along with Roy Baker, and looks like he practiced. During practice, he practiced first in his class, in the AM class. So going to be somebody to look out for tonight, considering that they had an open practice on Sunday night, and he was the fastest there as well with the 136.164. And of the fastest pro driver in practice on Sunday night, Brennan, was Iro Nam.
Yeah, and he put down a killer lap. I'll say that. It was just like he always does, outperforming most people. And he's just one of the greater drivers on the iRacing service. Of course, all the drivers here are great, but he's just on a whole nother level. People call these drivers on iRacing aliens because essentially what they're doing, it almost seems like it cannot be done by humans. And he's showing us that he can do it if he is a human.
Well, I guess we might call him a human, but man, watching some of his races, we are now live, by the way. But watching some of his races for the last few, it's always a close race. That's what I'm saying about these drivers. They are all so close, but Iro just keeps finding ways to eke out wins somehow. And I've heard he's dealing with just a little bit of back pain tonight. But with that being said, they technically have 3 races left, but we only have 2 broadcasts left. This race here tonight are 2 different races separated by 20-minute heats. So all he's got to do tonight is win one race, and he gets the max points possible for the season.
That's just an amazing feat to think about that. So many things can go wrong in racing, and a lot of people know that. You could have many crashes or just not do very well. But, for him to be literally perfect on his season is just a whole nother game. It's a lot of luck, a lot of skill, and it just shows level of competition here. And I think it'll show well at this track too. This is a track that really is demanding, and it challenges every driver, including me, who races here. And it's just one of those some people would say it's an equalizer track, but I feel like this one almost amplifies. If you have a lot of skill, it'll amplify that skill.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really see it being an equalizer track. I mean, because the track map right now is pulled up on the right side of your screen there, just below the sponsors, which I do want to give a shout out real quick to Bruno Carneiro Driver Coaching for sponsoring American Muscle Series this season. But with that being said, with that track map, there's really only one straightaway, and that's, I mean, Pilgrim's Drop, and after that, there's really not much there, Brennan.
Yeah, and right after that, straight into Hawthorne is just, one of the fastest corners on this track. Obviously, being at the end of the longest straight, it's also a pretty wide corner. So I think we'll see a lot of passing into there. At turn 1, some people like to pass into Paddock Hill, but it's one of those ones where it drops off. It's very off camber. If you slip up, it's going to cause a huge wreck. Of course, there's a lot of tires out there, which shows that many people have gone off there. And if you drop a tire into that gravel on the exit, it's going to throw you off as well. So, yeah, I'd say Pilgrims into Hawthorne is going to be the spot to do it. If you're still side by side after Hawthorne, and you're going into turn 6, which is Westfield Bend. That's where it starts to get really sketchy because that's downhill, almost flat out, going into an off camber blind corner, which is turn 7, and we've seen crashes in there in real life and in iRacing, and just hope that you get your turn ton at Hawthorne at the end of the straight.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right there. And I do want to mention, guys, before I start yelling, which I inevitably will because the racing is so good here on this series, I have moved in to a new place. I'm sitting in a living room. It is all hardwood floors, hard ceilings. So you may hear a little bit of echo. And then Slow Motion Broadcasting's mascot, my dog Lewis, when he barks now, it also amplifies that. So I apologize, guys, for a little bit of the mic inconsistencies. Please let me know if they get too bad, and I'll try to do something about it. And also, the internet might be a little bit different here. So working with a bunch of variables tonight that we weren't working with a month or a week ago, but we're going to get through it, and we're going to watch here as Clint Fletcher starts his first flying lap. And Brendan, I'll let you take us through it.
Yeah, so here we are into Paddock Hill Bend, turn 1. You can see it goes downhill very sharply and then compresses right at the bottom of that. That's where you could get wide and hit the gravel. Into Druids, a tight right-hander. You'll see a couple of pass attempts here, but if you're too wide coming out of there, coming here into Graham Hill Bend, it's going to be a tough one. Luckily, you can go very wide here. You can see some AstroTurf. So if people didn't get it sorted out in turns 2, they could probably get it into turn 3. Coming down here into Surtees, which is coming on to the long straight that we were mentioning a little bit earlier. You want to get a really good exit out of there because these cars, we saw the draft plays a big role, but if you get an exit, a very good exit, and you can pull the pass off before this corner, you'll be even better position. Hawthorne's Bend, this is called. Like I said, that was a fast right-hander, and just like turns 3, if you don't get it sorted out here, you're going to have to sort it out through Sheen, which is not where you want to be sorting out a pass. You can see this one is a blind corner, uphill, turn in before you even know where the corner is. Very loose.
Thank goodness.
The track kind of drops away from you, and then this left-hander is a very awkward one. There's not a lot of grip at turn in, but right when you hit the apex, it kind of banks a little bit, and you get a lot more grip coming out of there. Into the final corner now. You might see a couple of desperate moves being made here, especially with a 20-minute race. Coming on to the front straight. And that's your lap at Brandt's Hatch.
So what I just saw there were some very fast corners, as you were mentioning, and not a whole lot of passing opportunities. So it's looking like there may have to be some passes that, dare I say, maybe get a little bit forced. Hope not, but we'll find out.
Yeah, we know that these cars are tough. We've seen a couple of door-to-door contact friendly door-to-door contact in the past in these races. You can move people out of the way a little bit, but yeah, no, I think the admins that decided to make this track a heat race round really likes excitement, and I think we're going to see a lot of it here tonight.
Yes, we will, and look at that. None other than Iro Nam at the top of the leaderboard after his first lap. Only 4/100ths of a second ahead of Ronenberg, though, with Luis Enriquez, who was the fastest second place in the pro class during practice, back there in third. Roy Baker way up there in the AM class, 4th place. Man, very clear of Edgar Sanchenelli, who's there in 8th place, but 2nd in the AM class.
Yeah, good on Ronenberg to get right up to Arrow there and give him a little bit of pressure. Even on your qualifying laps, you can feel the pressure if you're looking at the leaderboard while you're driving. And we saw at Watkins Glen, if you put a little bit of pressure on Arrow Nam, you can really kind of stick with him and spice things up a little bit. We saw, at Watkins Glen, that was a very exciting race. And it's mind games do play a big part of this, even in qualifying. When I'm driving and I see someone get right up on my time, I start to freak out and I start to sweat, almost like they're right behind me on track.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just watched Edgar Sanchenelli come across the line there with a little bit of blinking, but looks like he does go just a bit quicker. See if we can get onto somebody that's not blinking so bad, and that'll be Scott Banks, who has closed that gap. He's only 1/100th of a second now off until Iro Nam just throws in an absolute heater with the 1:35.613 for his second lap.
Yeah, this track is almost like the Nürburgring, where it's hard to put a full lap together. Like I said on the qualifying lap kind of preview I did, a lot of places to drop a wheel, and that'll give you a 1x. Right there is where you can get a 1x. You aim to cut the corner, and you just let the car push a little bit wide. But if the car grips up all of a sudden, it's going to catch you out by surprise, and you might even get a slowdown at that corner. And that's a tough one to get rid of, because you're either taking it before the corner, which you're essentially going to get rear-ended if you take it before the corner, or if you take it after the corner, you're going to lose, a lot of spots going into the final corner, which is not a spot that you want to lose spots.
Yeah, Joe Edward up there with a pretty quick time there, about 0.2 of a second off Eero with a 1:36.087. We have Matthew Guzenda, though. Doesn't look like he has set a lap, and he's coming around again. He's setting some green sectors right now. He's at 125. He's got one corner to go. We'll see exactly what he can do in the AM class. See if he can get that FR 500 just a little bit further up the grid. Coming across the line now, and he can. Wow, great improvement by Matthew Guzenda. 137.191. Roy Baker still up there in the lead in the AM class. Kind of stuck in a pro driver sandwich.
Yeah, tell me about it. And you look at these gaps in between the cars, they're all either orange or red or yellow, and that shows that they're close together. And just to be able to put a lap together is one thing, but all of these drivers putting in very close lap times, it's just another thing. And I think it's going to show this evenness across the field is going to show really well in the races, because all of these drivers are pretty much just as good as each other. Put them all together on the same track with 20 minutes, someone's going to have to win it, and that'll be something to look out for.
Yeah, absolutely. So Scott Banks he's kind of ebbing and flowing through this lap, had a few green sectors. We'll see what he can do getting out of this final corner. That 1:34.35, he's going to cross the line now. Man, that is he's got to get a little bit of a move on it here. 8 minutes elapsed out of the 10 minutes in this qualifying session. Iro Nam is, what can we say? Every time somebody gets a little bit closer, he comes out and throws more heaters out there at you. It's like, man, he's giving you that carrot to chase, Brendan. You just can't quite get there.
Riley Downey is almost getting there. You saw he moved up a lot of spaces up into P7. That's a good qualifying result for him. A lot of drivers are doing very well today. You see, it's a bit more mixed. Of course, we see Riley do a burnout, just as I said, he did a great job in qualifying. It's very evenly spaced field. Of course, at the other tracks, it's pro and AM is very distinctive. It's all the green and then all the red. But here they're a little bit mixed up. So they're all almost doing the same thing.
Yep, they are, and we are right now waiting, I think, for everybody to finish their qualifying laps. Nobody looks like they're going any quicker at the moment. We'll keep an eye on the qualifying delta there at the bottom of the screen. If we see any green times pop up, we'll go ahead and hop to them. But again, I just want to mention we do have some people in here watching now. So if you're looking to sponsor an awesome league, we are coming to an end of Season 2 here for the American Muscle Series, and Mr. McGrew, Finney, whoever, whatever you want to call him, is looking for sponsors for Season 3. rmcgrew, that's rmcgrew or finny.mcfinger, hashtag 6697. We are about 20 seconds away from the end of qualifying, which means we're going to get to the grid and get you the results up here. But, Brendan, I'm going to put you in the hot seat. Give me your favorite pro and your favorite AM driver tonight for the wins.
I want to see Roddenberry give it to Arrow. He's done it before, and he's always a very consistent driver. Of course, Arrow's going to be the one to look out for because he's the one who's the fastest, clearly. AM Edgar Sanchenelli, you know me. I can't not say him. He'll be one to look out for. He had a good qualifying lap and hopefully a good race.
Yeah, so here we go with the grid for race number 1. We have Eero Nam there in first place with a 1:35.386. Roddenberry, almost 0.5 of a second off the back of Eero there in second with Joe Edward in third. Matt Malone up there in fourth place. We've seen him put on some crazy shows with some of the racing he's done lately with Luis Enriquez in fifth, Scott Banks sixth, Riley Downey seventh. Those are all top 7 are your pro drivers. The first AM is going to be Roy Baker with a pro of Evan Hubchak there in 9th place. We interviewed him before the race, said he wants a top 10. He's there right now. We'll see if he can keep it. Jesse Hodgson, the second place in class, 10th overall. In 10th with Clint Fletcher in 11th and Matthew Guzenda in 12th. Edgar Sanchenelli 13th, Jay Little 14th, David Clymer 15th, Roger Clark 16th, Matt Thompson 17th, Dave Blair 18th, Michael Puchik 19th, Scott Brooks 20th, Stephen Price 21st, Mike Nickum 22nd, Jason Gata 23rd, Desmond Floyd back there in 24th position. And that looks like we got Mike Key in 25th and Ken Estep in 26th with Tom Wendt rounding out the field in 27th place. I had to take about, my goodness, 3 breaths there. So this is a big field tonight, Brendan. Look at all those Mustangs lined up at the moment.
Yeah, very intimidating. You mentioned Matt Malone's qualifying position. I think he's in a perfect spot for the way he drives. We saw at Watkins Glen, every single time the people in front of him were battling, he would take advantage of that and pass them. And if he was in 5th place and 3rd and 4th were battling, well, all of a sudden he would be in 3rd place. Right now, who's in front of him but the top 2 drivers? If they start battling, I have a feeling that we're going to see Matt Malone try to make a move for the lead early on tonight.
Yeah, and I'm expecting that from Matt. He always tends to put on a show. Very fiery driver, great driver, a very fiery personality if you've ever listened to him in the interview booth. So yeah, looking forward to see what he can do. And there is a shout out to Edgar Sanchenelli. We did see a bit of blinking from him. He's going to start from the pits, just kind of stay out of the way. He's having some connection issues back there, so hopefully he can get those sorted and we can get a good race from Edgar. We know he's quick, so starting from the back, he's going to have some positions to make up, and there are quite a few to make up tonight. But with that being said, there are 2 races, and remember, top 10 get inverted. Brennan, if you're in 12th place right now, are you trying to get as far up the field as you can, or are you looking for that track position for race number 2?
I'm trying to get up to P10. It's it's one of those things where if you're in 11th place, P10 might seem one position away, but if you don't get P10, you just lost yourself 10 positions, not just 1 position. So it's one of those things where you might see a little bit of desperation. The lead, you might see a little bit of desperation for the lead, but for P10, it's going to be one of those make it or break it positions for tonight.
We watched the Spec 5 race last Thursday, and very confusing, some of the strategy. What I thought were tactics, come to find out there were actually some slowdowns. Brendan, I know you were part of that race, but looked like a bit of jockeying for that final position, honestly.
Yeah, it just depends on how comfortable you are in different positions. If you're in P8 tonight and you want to be on the front row. You know that you're not very good on the second row. You're going to want to lose a couple of positions just so that you have that upper edge on the start. But that's all up to the driver. Different drivers like different things. I like to follow people sometimes and then pass them and win. But no, I mean, we'll find out here pretty shortly.
Yeah, we will, and it looks like at the moment we're about to go green here. Looks like they've started now, and man, Ironam already gets a heck of a run down to turn 1, but it is 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 all the way back through the rest of the field.
Yeah, that was a smart start. He leaves it to the people behind him to battle, and he can just drive away all by himself. And we see a couple of cars almost going wide there. You can see a tire mark in the grass over there. Another tire mark in the grass. So no, it's
oh no!
All the way around.
Who got sideways there? That looks like Guzenda got a little bit sideways. And do we have more chaos going on up here in the front?
Looks like Riley Downey spun out all by himself, too. That's too bad to see. We all saw he had a great qualifying, and he saw it, too, after doing those burnouts. But not supposed to be doing a burnout on lap 1 of the race, Riley.
Yeah, absolutely, but that's okay. I think everybody's going to be able to get back okay. Again, there are 2 races here, so your night is not over if you make a mistake in race 1. We'll get back to those replays as quick as we can, but right now we are watching the battle for first in the pro class. Excuse me, none other than Ronenberg and Nam up here, and to be honest, I expected Nam to already be pulling away, but man, Ronenberg seems to have some race pace, like you were mentioning, Brennan.
Yeah, that draft helped him out a little bit, and I think the pressure's on Aeronam already right now. You can see that there's 3 cars behind him, Matt Malone being in 3rd place, so we already see him moving up a spot, and it looks like there's starting to be a gap forming behind Malone, but no, and this is just one of those tracks where if the pressure is on you and you brake just the slightest bit late or you turn just the slightest bit differently, it could throw you off completely.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. And remember, Nam up there in first place, very quick driver, and he is battling some back pain tonight, so he may only do one of these races, which is going to leave it open for some other drivers maybe to get a win, but man, it's going to be impressive if Nam can hold on to this. I know back pain. I know how that feels trying to press the gas and the brakes and all that stuff that goes in. Your back controls basically all of your leg functions. So hopefully he's able to hold on to it, at least for this race.
Yeah, and even if he does quit halfway through, if he stays in this position for this race, well, like you said, all he has to do is win one more race this season. He has the perfect season. So maybe winning this race, maybe he could just take the next race off and relax and maybe watch the slow motion broadcasting race as we see Matt Malone was bump drafting Ronenberg up into this fast right-hander.
All right, while we get one quick chance here, we'll go see what happened exactly at the start, and it looks like that was already in progress when all of that went down. So let's try this one, see if we can see exactly what happened here to Guzenda. On the outside of the track, he just gets loose trying to get on the gas.
Yeah, I mean, even at the beginning of a race, there's still different track surface wear, and if you go a little bit too wide, it's not necessarily marbles, but it's just offline. You're not used to the different grip amounts, and then you see it kind of caused a big effect behind him.
So here we go. That wasn't Guzenda. That was actually Hodgson that got loose, and Guzenda up into the grass, and then you can see he just got a warning. Guzenda did for not holding the brakes during a spin. So we'll kind of see. No, that was number 52. I don't know who number 57 is. There's so many cars right now. That is Mike Nickham that got hit for that. But let's get us back to live here, see what we've missed. I'm sure we've missed something. No, we actually haven't. Not this time. So top three, my goodness, who was that back there? Was that Joe Edward that just held on to that? That was a bit of a pucker moment.
Yeah, that's one of those things where if it starts to slide, like, it got a lot of weight on that car. It'll just keep sliding and sliding some more, a lot of momentum. But glad he saved that when I caught that out of the corner of my eye, and a big pink flash going across my screen. I kind of got scared, but held it together, thankfully.
Oh, it's awesome, to have a pink car because it stands out, right? It's also not awesome to have a pink car because it stands out. So that was great on Joe Edward. Good save, but it looks like Banks is going to try to make a move down the inside, and you mentioned you can get there, but he wasn't quite able to do it there, Brendan.
Yeah, you can get there, but you can see this exit of the corner just keeps getting tighter and tighter and going more to the right and more to the right. If you want to make it stick, you really have to make it stick before the corner. And you can see he runs.
Oh my goodness!
There does Edward, and that's that corner that you have to take pretty much blind, and you turn in before you even see the corner. So could have just got a little bit loose on the grass there, cutting it, but yeah, cutting it close, I guess we could say.
Yeah, but we've got Roy Baker up here, first in the AM class, and doing a very nice job. And no, I need to stop commentator cursing people as Roy Baker gets just a little bit wide on the final corner. He's going to hold on to it, I think, doing the right thing, waiting for everybody to drive by. He may just actually take it into the pits. Nope, he's going to swing it around. That is unfortunate for Roy. I apologize so much.
That one's all on you, Adam. I mean, he had, like you said, he had a great lead. I mean, he was ahead of Clymer, who we know is a great driver, and him being an AM class driver ahead of Clymer was very, very good for him. And like I said, all these corners, or most of these corners, are very high speed, right on the edge of adhesion for the tires. And well, if that tire all of a sudden goes into the grass and there's no grip, well, you're going to have a problem like he did.
Man, every time I see these drivers get out wide like that, as you can see the information there at the top of the screen, Race Control says number 80, no investigation necessary. That was Roy Baker. Did the right thing, just held on to it the best he could. But anyways, every time I see these drivers go wide on that AstroTurf, Brendan, you don't think that those cars are going to be able to hold that corner.
It's a surprising amount of grip on that AstroTurf, and it's almost like it changes between different tracks. It's like they have different, AstroTurf suppliers. Oh, as we see someone get loose up there. But yeah, it's like at Spa, you hit the AstroTurf and you spin. It's almost like you hit the grass. But then at this track, it's almost like reinforced AstroTurf, where the tires still get a little bit of grip. And surprisingly, as heavy cars as these are, still have a lot of grip at that exit of the corner. So British AstroTurf, I guess, is more grippy than Belgian AstroTurf.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have an off track. You can see Mike Key falling down the order there. We'll try to get to that if we can. But right now we do have a battle, a very good battle at the moment between Scott Banks, Luis Enriquez, and Joe Edward for fourth, fifth, and sixth. As Nam, I saw a little bit of a flash of red on top of his screen there. Got a little bit of an off track, but seemed to hold on to it. But man, the racing, again, look at the track map. It looks spread out, but all of these guys are in packs and just going at it.
Yeah, and I wonder what the gap is at P10. It looks like it's only 0.6 for P10 right now, so we'll see that battle get a little bit heated up, I guess, a little bit hotter as this race goes on. We're nearing the end of the race, really, when you think about it. We're over halfway through, only 8 minutes left. And, like I said, this is the spot that is literally worth 10 positions. It's one spot that's worth 10 positions. So you don't want to be in 11th place at the end of this race.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So we did see no investigation necessary for number 86, which is Mike Key. Let me go back to the replay. I mentioned him getting a little bit, looks like he caught the grass, man. You catch oh my goodness, it looks like he got collected there as well. But seems to keep going. No investigation necessary on that one.
Yeah, I just want to give a little bit of an off-topic shout out to Michael Key. He's in a Mazda league that I race in. It's a very prominent Mazda league, and he got his first ever class podium last night. So he's coming off of a high, and maybe he got a little bit too excited there, but clearly he's got a lot of skill, and he's one of those Frito Sport drivers, along with Edgar Sanchenelli, and great team, and clearly they know what they're doing. And just a big shout out to him from last night. Yeah,
absolutely. And we do have another no investigation necessary, and that is Clint Fletcher. Looks like Clint got passed by a few drivers as well. We'll see exactly what happens. Looks like his car is already a little bit crunched up. Oh, well, because I didn't hit the right one. We'll see exactly why his car is crunched up. Does he catch the grass? He does on the inside this time and goes around.
Yeah, another one of those right on the edge corners. And like I said, with this car, I'm not completely sure how it feels under a high pressure corner like that. But apparently once it goes, it really goes, and there's no saving it. But we've seen a couple of drivers save it, so that really just shows how good they are. But yeah, not an easy car to drive, clearly.
So I just want to mention, I know we're watching the race right now, but I just had something very peculiar pop up on my overlay. It says Randall McGrew has passed Ismael Rivera for P28. So even though the two admins and race controllers are not actually in the race, they must just they must be racing something somewhere. But anyways, we did miss this pass. Matt Malone got past Eric Ronenberg for P2. We'll see actually how it happened here. Looks like he just gets to the inside and just Ronenberg almost has to let him go through there. That is a very tight corner to go too wide in.
Yeah, and you saw later in that lap on Sheed, Matt Malone got a little bit loose and a little bit wide, and almost repassed by Ronenberg there, but he held on to it. Like I said, it's a tight track, it's hard to pass on, but I won't be surprised if we see Ronenberg try to make a few more moves as we see this 3-car pack with Henriquez in it. Another one that should be heating up pretty soon with only 5 minutes to go.
So speaking of heating up, this battle for 10th place right now is still there. You got Jason Gatta there in 10th, but Stephen Price is right on the back of him. Hasn't really allowed Jason Gatta to get away about 6/10 of a second right now, but at the moment we are watching this battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Pretty close, pretty tight on track, looking for some different battles going on right now, but this looks like the closest one at the moment.
Yeah, I just want to apologize really quickly. I was reading the times wrong. We've just passed the halfway mark, so still a little bit more time to go, but for what these drivers are thinking, there's only really a couple more laps, with, of course, these lap times being a little bit longer than a minute. So, we'll see car damage there. Fletcher, we saw him go off earlier, but halfway through, and we'll see what happens up next.
Looks like Brooks was able to get around Fletcher. That was for P14. And now Fletcher's really coming under fire by Hodgson, but Hodgson has about the same looking damage that Fletcher does right behind him.
Yeah, symmetrical crashes, twin crashes maybe.
We've seen these drivers. They get loose and they make contact with that inside wall about the same spot every time on the track, even though they're getting loose in different corners. But with that being said, it looks like we have Nam coming up on a lap car here. See if that hurts him at all and see if Malone's able to close that gap. Looks like he started to gap Ronenberg just a little bit.
Yeah, so things clearly are already heating up a little bit with almost 8 minutes to go, and like I said, you're almost counting the laps down, and you're saying, well, if I didn't do it this lap, I have to do it next lap, and if I don't do it next lap, I have to do it the lap after that. But if I do it right now, I can get it over with, and you can see these 3 cars still together with that draft coming up into the fast right-hander. Yeah,
absolutely. But I do, after we watch this quick right-hander of Hawthorne's, let's go back here and give a big shout-out here right now to Jason Gatta. Up 13 positions. He's got himself into the transfer spot, but it's getting real close now. It looks like he's actually going to try to make a move there on Puchik, not able to get it done quite yet.
Yeah, he's been a big mover in a lot of races this season, and there really hasn't been that many incidents in this race, so it is pretty much all on skill there. Same with the driver ahead of him. So these are two drivers that know what it's like to pass a lot of people, and right now it is Gatta who's going to be passing Puchik if Puchik slips up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gatta's not going to let him drive easily into, well, I would say the sunset. My goodness, who was that behind him? That was Price that just got a little bit up into the grass, but held on to it. I'm watching every time I see a car hit the grass now, I'm starting to flinch, Brennan.
Yep. I know what it's like to be driving a car that goes into the grass. A lot of people tell me that I should put dirt tires on the MX-5 Cup car that I drive. And, it's just one of those things that, you can either save it or you can't, and hopefully you can. And if you don't, like I said at this track, there's just walls ready to greet you.
Oof!
As we see Malone almost going a little bit wide. He does go a little bit wide, and that gives Ronenberg the door to get by. And it looks like the car ahead is pretty much giving the draft to Ronenberg, but it looks like Malone has a pretty big head of steam.
Hold on to your hats. This is going to get tight. This is going to get real tight, and Malone just drives it down the inside, able to make that stick, but looks like Ronenberg may try a little bit of an over-under. Can't quite get it done yet. But I remember I mentioned that Malone was starting to gap Ronenberg. Ronenberg must have heard me, because now he's right back on the back of Malone with the lap car coming up, so this could get pretty interesting very quickly.
It could, and lap cars, can almost improve the race or disimprove the race. If they give one of the drivers the draft, as we saw it going down Hawthorne Hill, which is essentially the long straight before it. So yeah, it's almost who does he give the draft to, and who does he possibly hold up? I know Little's a very quick driver, and looks like he may have just been caught up in an incident, but I know we're going to see what happens here going into turn one.
The problem here is that Little, as much as he wants to try to get out of the way, there just really isn't a spot to do it, and it looks like Malone's going to get down to the inside, and it looks like Ronenberg's going to be able to do it too. Malone wasn't waiting around any longer.
Yeah, it looks like Little finally saw right in the mirror that Malone was right there, and figured, well, maybe I'll get out of the way. Just
Little catches the grass
now, and it's almost going to get a couple more dents in the front of his car, but doesn't. Luckily, he saves it. You can see Ronenberg catches right up to Malone in the braking zone, and looks like he got a really good exit there, and Malone over the bumps. That's a very slight bump, and if you get that rear tire in the air, it could kind of ruin your exit a little bit, because of course you don't have a lot of traction being put down. But Ronenberg still showing that he's there, and he's ready to pass Malone.
We have another battle going on track right now, and that's Gata on Puchik. Gata still not able to get around him, but he's trying, and right now he's gotta go.
Oh, wow, that was a great one, Adam.
Thanks.
But yeah, like I was saying earlier, it's if you're looking at it in terms of laps, these guys don't know that if there's only a couple of passing opportunities, they're only going to be seeing those opportunities only a few more times. So, they're going to try to get going here really quick.
Oh, you didn't want to say it, did you? But anyways, we are here still on board with Gata. I mean, what do you think? They're running 136, so they were, like you said, only really have a couple more laps. And the problem with this track is we're about to see what he can do. I mean, I guess that straightaway offers a bit of drafting help, and it looks like Dave Blair goes off the track as well. We're going to find out exactly what happened. Make sure Dave, because it said he came back on the track, then he had people past him. He catches the grass about in the same spot as everybody else does, but he holds on to it. But now he's getting back on the track. He's holding. Ooh, buddy, that was dangerous.
Yeah, that's always sketchy, coming from sliding in the grass and having no grip, and then all of a sudden your tires hit the asphalt, and all of a sudden there's a ton of grip. So if you have your wheel pointed one way, it might not be doing much in the grass, but the instant it gets back onto the track, it's going to send you whatever way your wheels are turning, and that happened to him there.
Can I just mention something real quick? Take a look at Riley Downey's save right now. I just watched this in the back. Gets super loose in the sand and the gravel up there and is able to hold on to it. We have got a bunch of stuff going on here right now in the timing tower. We got one from Joe Edward as well. Make sure he's okay. Number 36 and number 14 will be investigated after the race, so we'll go ahead and take a gander at that if we can. Number 36 car being Dave Blair. Yep, that's what we were talking about, that re-entry on Dave. That was really, I don't know if Dave could have done much there, and I don't want to talk too much because I know the stewards have it under control, Brennan.
Yeah, they definitely do, and you saw Joe Edward go, from one end of the track to the other, and that's what I was saying. These walls are really close to each other, and if he went, 1 foot more to the left or 1 foot more to the right, he would have a lot of damage on his car right now. So it's lucky it wasn't any tighter. As we see Riley going into the final corner. Haven't seen too many issues there. Of course, we saw the one where you commentator cursed him, and
yeah. I'm probably just gonna go ahead and switch off his car real quick. I do want to give a shout out to Edgar Sanchenelli. We're gonna go to him real quick. He is blinking a little bit, but I just want to mention that Sanchenelli, even though he's blinking, I know he's struggling. He has moved himself up quite a bit from starting in the pits. He's up into 14th.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to make a move into turn one. I can't see him though, but I'm sure he's there somewhere, smiling and gripping that steering wheel really hard.
Yeah, makes the move on Hodgson, and if I'm Hodgson, I'm a little bit worried. And this is what you get with virtual online racing sometimes, internet connections, and I mean it could happen to broadcasters as well. But right now, my internet's at least holding up strong, so we're going to be able to continue watching this race. And speaking of this race, Ronenberg is still on the back of Malone. He has not let him breathe at all as Ronenberg gets way wide, almost off into the grass.
You can see 4th and 5th place are pretty much right there too. I wonder if they're getting a whiff of the draft down the long straights and the short straights of this track, right up against the grass there. But we could see a 4-car battle for third, or for second actually, if it keeps going this way.
Well,
as it looks like we got the white flag right there.
We just saw that white flag flying, so this is going to be basically it. Malone's going to try to hold on to this. The transfer spot for 10th is pretty locked up as well. I'm not going to say his name because I might commentator curse him, but if you can look on the left side of your timing tower, you can see who's in 10th place. Still a battle there, and now you can hear the slow motion broadcasting mascot deciding to make a few barks. He knows the end of the race is coming as well. He just wants to let everybody else know that he's excited for the end of this one. But right now, Iro Nam is just, again, the class of the field.
Yes, he certainly is. Of course, 6 seconds ahead of everybody else, and it just shows perfect season almost. Not going to say it yet, but it just shows why.
Well,
this shows why he's 6 seconds, almost 7 seconds now ahead.
This is about to be a perfect season for Iro Nam. He has about 3 more corners to get through, and he's going to be able to get this done and put a perfect season to rest. He still has drop weeks, doesn't have to race anymore. He will get a maximum amount of points. He's got 1 more corner to make sure he can get it done. Iro Nam going to cross the line in first place, rounding out an absolutely amazing season for him. Crossing the line in first with Matt Malone coming home second, barely. Ronneberg was trying to chase him down with Henriquez in 4th, Banks in 5th. Joe Edward about to come across the line in 6th. All of these guys are pro drivers you can see on the left side of your screen, with David Clymer coming home in 7th. Up 8 positions from the start, so great job by David, with Roger Clark coming across the line, also up 8 positions. Jason got a biggest mover of the race, top 10, actually in 9th place, was finally able to make the move around Puchik that we missed, with Puchik coming home the first and only open driver, or the first and only AM driver in the top 10.
Yeah, that's another good feat for him. Like I was saying earlier, he's a great driver, and yeah, top 10 for an AM driver is nothing to complain about. It's it just shows, maybe you're ready to move up.
Yeah. He's about to move up 10 positions, Brennan, and start in first place for race number 2. And you have got a bunch of very, very hungry pro drivers about to be breathing down your back bumper for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, I hope he's ready to put his defensive gear on. It's going to be one of these interesting dynamics between the pro and AM drivers.
Yeah, absolutely will be. And the warm-up is there. See if we can get the results pulled up for race number 1. And it doesn't look like we're going to be able to, considering this is still the same race. So we're not going to be able to get that done. But you guys did kind of see how everything played out for that. And now on the warm-up, we'll see if we can get anybody out on track. And it looks like Joe Edward is actually about to come out here on track. Maybe get a bit of a view of Joe, and hopefully he can have a little bit of a better race. He did pretty good. Have maybe a few less mistakes here in race number 2.
I just want to point out something now that I have the time. We saw coming up to the checkered flag, that group of 4 cars, there's really no way to pass right before the line, so the draft didn't really play much of a role on the final straight. In the Mazdas, it actually does. It's almost like if you're in second place right on their bumper, you can win the race, but of course that's because we're only going 20 miles an hour. But these cars obviously a lot quicker, and it looks like they get to the line a lot quicker too. So I think all these drivers now have seen that and are saying, well, if I want to pass the guy, I can't wait till after the final corner. I'm going to have to do it before the final corner. So now that that's in their heads, I think they're going to change their game plan a little bit for the final lap.
Well, I want to mention a few things. Number 1, I totally agree with everything you said on the back end of that statement. But 20 miles an hour. Is that when they're turbocharged, or I've never seen a Mazda do over really 10, to be honest.
20. It's 25 in the draft and 20 out of the draft. Funny poking joke saying 10 miles an hour, but no, it is 20 miles an hour and a rapid 25 in the draft.
Okay, whatever you say. I mean, I have yet to see it happen yet, but maybe there's some weight that you can take out of the car to get it up to that just absolutely blistering speed. All right, I'm done. I'm done poking fun of the Mazda drivers. I apologize because I know there's Mazda drivers in here as well. But anyways, right now we are on board here not on board, but watching Matt Thompson as he just slides that thing around.
Yeah, I think this is now the time to practice sliding almost. We saw a couple of incidents where people couldn't hold the slide. Well, now's the time to do it with no consequences, really, other than maybe getting into somebody on a flying hot lap. But no, this is the perfect time to test out. If you crashed the last race, maybe try to replicate what started that crash and try to save it, and hopefully you'll be able to save it in the race coming up here in a few minutes.
Yep, absolutely. And I just want to shout out, Randall mentioned it as well, Pole, race number 2. So, that was pretty impressive, to say the least, and I'm rooting for him now. I just hope he can hold that thing together and maybe take a win. And could you imagine finishing in front of 9 pro drivers?
That would be amazing. If I was in his shoes, I'd probably be sweating bullets right now. It's and right when the flag drops, I'll probably be screaming and yelling, knowing that these fast, very fast drivers are behind me.
1 second here, we do have it. I'm sorry, Brendan. We do have an interview. We got Iro Nam here in the interview waiting booth. We got him from race 1. We'll go ahead and pull him in real quick. Iro, you got us.
Yep.
Hey, man! Congratulations. Perfect season.
No, thanks.
Kind of walk us through the race. I know you're struggling a little bit with some personal pain, but it didn't look like it out there on track. You took that lead and you just started running away with it.
Yeah, it was really tough in the first laps. Maybe I'm using different setups, but I had to be really careful on the throttle. But yeah, at the end it was easy when I got the gap. But the pain, when I sit down in my racing seat in the real car racing seat in the cockpit, it's okay.
Well, that's a good thing because we don't want to see you go anywhere, Euro. You're definitely putting on a show for us here tonight. You're starting in 10th place here for race number 2. How do you think that's going to work out? You think you can get back up there to first place in 20 minutes?
First we have to start the race, not like the last time, so let's see how it goes. But it will be tough to pass, but maybe I can use some places to enter different mode and exit differently. I don't know, it's very tough to pass here.
Yeah, I get it. Brendan, got anything for him before he grids up?
Well, I know it's really tough to pass places, but if you had to, if you had to pass somebody, where would you want it to be? Where would the easiest place to be?
Turn 2, but to make it happen, I had to be very close on the turn 1. And get inside basically on the corner exit right away.
All right, Eero, thank you very much, man. We'll go ahead and let you grid up here. Good luck in race number 2.
Thanks, guys.
That was Eero Nam there, first place. He seems pretty calm and confident, but let me tell you what, this guy just crazy good. He always seems confident when we go through and talk to him after the race, and we just watched him throw in a pretty quick lap while he was talking to us. That's something I can't do. But anyways, Brendan, I'll let you take us through the lineup for race number 2.
Well, first of all, maybe it should be mid-race interviews next time. but yeah, starting in pole position is Michael Puchik. Again, he's the open class or the AM class driver, excuse me. And it'll be fun to see all the pro class drivers right behind him. You got Jason Gata alongside him, Roger Clark in P3, David Clymer in P4, Joe Edward P5, Scott Banks P6, Luis Henriquez in P7, Eric Ronenberg P8, Matt Malone in P9. We know how good he is at passing people, and he's got a lot of people to pass now after that grid invert. Aero 9, who we just talked to, in P10. We know he's one of the fastest drivers here, and he's got 20 minutes now to make it by a pretty big field in front of him. Stephen Price in P11, Riley Downey P12, Scott Brooks P13, Edgar Sanchenelli, who we mentioned a little bit earlier, in P14.
He's want to stop you right there, Brendan. He's starting from the pits again, still battling those connection issues.
Oh, that's too bad. So it looks like that'll move the one lane up a little bit. But as it sits, it looks like Jesse Hodgins P15, Desmond Floyd P16, Dave Blair P17, Roy Baker P18, Matthew Gazenda. We saw him almost had a couple of issues. He's sitting in P19. Mike Nickham in P20. Michael Key, Tom Wentz, sorry, in P21. Michael Key in P22. We mentioned him earlier as well. Clint Fletcher had a couple of issues in P23 right now. Jay Little in 24th. Matt Thompson, 25th. Evan Hoopchek, we saw him have an issue, pretty big issue actually. P26. Ken Estep in P27. That's the end of the field for race 2.
That's a lot. It's a tongue twister, isn't it? That's a lot of cars on track.
Yeah, a lot of cars on track and a lot of colors on track too. It's kind of eye candy and eye candy in both ways. A lot of names and a lot of colors to match them up with. And maybe I should get a sheet and match the colors to the names.
Yeah, I guess that would work for you. Matching colors, that's
It
about
worked
your
for
speed.
me. Yeah, okay.
All right. Anyways, so we've got. Looks like we'll go ahead and get the track map pulled up here, see where they are on track. But it looks like they're about halfway around at the moment. Okay, I'm gonna put you in the hot seat again, Brennan. Give me your top 3 pro and top 3 AM if you can get that done as they come down the backstretch.
Like I said earlier, I think Matt Malone is very good at passing people, and I think that we will see him make a lot of moves in the first couple of laps. So I'm going to want to keep my eye on him, and I'll root for him today for the second race. Open class, maybe, one would say Scott Price because he's in P11, but I don't know. We'll say Brooks tonight. We'll let them start right now.
Well, anyways, that doesn't matter anymore because there we go again. Looks like we're going green now, and they are way more bunched up. Aeronom gets a much better start in the back of the field. Look at him go all the way. Looks like Michael Pucik going to hold first place 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 again through turn 1. This is absolutely amazing driving by all these guys, Brennan.
Yeah, Pucik doing what Aeronam did, getting away early and going wide and, getting by himself, not fighting anybody. And it looks like we do have a car going really wide in the back there. Almost spinning around, coming back on track possibly. No, it just saves it without hitting anybody, almost hit someone else again.
Oh, my
boy.
Goodness, who was that? That was Riley Downey. Oh, no. We have contact, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see.
It was Clint Fletcher almost coming back on track, collecting what looked like was Edgar Sanchenelli, but I could be wrong.
See what happened here with everything going on. This is Desmond Floyd, Guzenda. Oh, there are quite a few. That's Nickham back there. Everybody just getting wide, trying to avoid what doesn't really look like to be as bad as what we thought.
Yeah, luckily everyone got away almost unscathed. It looked like Floyd. As we go 3 wide here, I'll shut up here really quick.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, this is amazing battling, and it looks like someone else is falling. That's Joe Edward falling down the field, and this darn tree is now in my way. See exactly what happened to him if we can very shortly. My goodness, there is stuff going on all over the track right now. Here we go. See exactly what happened here to Joe Edward, right on the back of Pucik. Just, man, that corner, Brennan.
Yeah, it's you can see from this camera angle, it starts off as a little bit off camber and then downhill, which is never a good combination. But he's going to have to learn from that mistake and hopefully not do it again. But I'm sure we'll see him improve as we see Henriquez make a pass going into turn 2 on Pucik, who we saw started in first, is still doing very well. P3 right now at the end of lap 1.
Yeah, he really is doing a pretty good job. And geez, every time I see him come around that corner, it gets me a little giddy. But anyways, Pucik doing very well, still top 3. So top 3 overall, way in first place at the moment. Stephen Price, his first rival, back there in 10th in the AM class. But, this is really great driving by Pucik, able to hold off Malone for now. Malone may have nope, he doesn't. That's just my eyes. But Yeah, Malone's going to have to try to get around Puchik here. He doesn't want to see Clark and Henriquez drive off into the sunset. And as you can see, number 80 and number 81 under investigation. That would be Roy Baker and Desmond Floyd for that incident we saw there in, what was that, turn 4.
Yeah, it was one of those instances where it looked like, Floyd was a little bit off pace at mid-corner, which made one person behind him go wide and one person go on the inside of the corner. And
well,
yeah, it's just one of those things that happens.
I am happy to come back and tell you that is a racing incident with no further action. Mr. Ford Falcon here in the live chat. Eero did qualify. He finished P1 in the first 20-minute heat. There are 2 heats tonight, and then the top 10 got inverted, so he started in 10th place. Speaking of Eero, he's already up here into 6th. He said it was hard to pass. He's making it look easy, and he's trying to make a move on Puchik now.
Yeah, we just saw Puchik lose 2 positions in turn 1. He went a little bit wide, and Malone went by, and Banks said, sure, I'll take that spot too, and Banks went right on by, and yeah, like you said, we have a lot of people passing him now.
So we have 37 and 57 under investigation as well. I'll try to get to that as quick as we can. That looks like Evan Hubchek was involved in that. See if we can see exactly what happened here. Try to get to it if we can, but at the moment we are still riding along here with Eero Nam up there in 6th place. Got an interval starting to close, though, with Henriquez and Clark up here in 1st and 2nd. With Malone, well, you mentioned it, and here he comes, Brendan.
Oh, and here we see a move for the lead in one of the worst corners to pass at. Oh, is there going to be
goodness.
Almost contact between Malone and Henriquez. And now Banks gets by Malone. Looks like Malone had to check up a little bit there.
Banks says, thank you very much for doing that, Mr. Clark and Henriquez. I'm just going to go ahead and drive right around Malone now. Malone did a great job staying off the back bumper of Henriquez there.
Yeah, in my head, I'm thinking Malone sees them fighting. He's going to have to take advantage of this, just like he has in all the previous races. But it looks like he got caught out by those two cars. Looks like almost had a little bit of contact. It was Eero now making a move on Puchik in turn 1. Is Eero going to hold it, make it stick? Almost. He hasn't finished it yet, though. We're going into turn 2 as we're 2 by 2 for the lead right now.
Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. Look at what's going on up here. This is just gnarly racing. Absolute great racing by all these guys up front. Malone is basically pushing Clark around the track at the moment.
Yeah, Malone's going to want to make a move right now. This is the second time he's gotten held up. Not necessarily because of speed, but just because of circumstance. And Malone now wanting to make a move, wanting to go right now. I hope he is in the draft coming down the straight, which it looks like he is. And maybe getting a bump draft, too, coming from the orange car behind him. Looks like he's made it stick, and he is getting a bump draft, it looks like. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, don't look now, but we have just watched a guy drive from 10th to 4th in the span of 4 laps around a track where he himself said it was difficult to pass.
Well, he can do the difficult. We know that. And like you said, yeah, 4th place right now. He's looking right at 3rd place. So we could see 10th to 3rd in only 4 laps pretty much coming on to 5.
Yeah, go try to get down here through the field. Looks like we got Gata and Clymer in quite a blocked into a battle right now at the moment. Gata really a pretty big loser here, down 5 positions from the start of the race. And we did mention he was doing very well for race 1. I think he was in full avoidance there for maybe a lap or 2.
Yeah, unfortunately, but no, like you said, we see Puchik run a little bit wide. Maybe now he's seeing cars behind him in black and yellow and black, 2 very bright colors. But Puchik not giving up the fight yet, breaks very late into turn 2 and is still sticking around the outside, which now turns into the inside. Is he going to take it? Looks like he is to the inside. Nope, had to back out a little bit.
So
thought better of it.
So whoa, Gata is wide. Gata got way wide. That's going to give Puchik the chance to come back on him on the inside. See if he's going to be able to make it stick down Pilgrim's Drop. Oh, they're still side by side.
Yep, this battle is looks like the one to look at right now as we see the yellow car behind them wanting to make a move now too. He sees that these cars fighting are holding him up. He wants to get by him right now.
Yeah, he absolutely does. Right now, we've got an investigation. I couldn't see. I saw number 52 pop up at the top of the screen. I'm too busy looking at the battle. Right now, it looks like Puchik is going to finally get cleared by Jason Gata. And you got to watch out now because all of a sudden, Puchik's starting to fall back into the clutches of Stephen Price. Holy moly.
Still side by side. Puchik has got to be sweating so hard right now. He's been side by side for almost 2 laps, it looks like. And yeah, we saw Clymer try to pass into Sheen Curve, and he did it very well and very cleanly too. Almost door-to-door contact, but these guys are the best of the best, and they can keep it 1 inch from each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have a warning for number 52 for avoidable contact. That's Matthew Gazenda. We'll see what exactly happens here to grant him that warning, and that is what happens.
Yep, turn 2. We saw Arrow talking about that's where he wants to make moves, and we saw that one went a little bit haywire, but that's all right.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but able to get back into the pits and get back out there. Hopefully not too much damage, but battle heating up here. We've got Mr. Scott Banks right on the back of Luis Enriquez. We're not even halfway through this race, and they have been battling extremely hard, and there's a post-race investigation for number 4 and number 66. I will try to get that to you guys as quick as possible without straying away from the action that we have all over the track, as we're going to go back down here. Looks like we got Hodgson locked in a battle with Brooks.
Yeah, here it is right now. Looks like they're coming through, the infamous fast right-hander. And yeah, I don't know. It's, this is coming up now for the lead of the AM class. And, now there's no grid invert or anything, so they're just going to go for whatever position they can get.
Yeah, they absolutely are going to have to do that. But at the moment, they're looking pretty well. And, hey, look who is back. Puchik started in first place, and he is about to lose a position to Stephen Price, who started in 11th.
Yeah, and this is for the lead, like I said. So this is a very high stakes position, and yeah, like you said, it's with that grid invert, it's almost back to what it was before the grid invert. Now, with these two together.
Yeah, this is insane to say the least. And we've got Iro Nam and Matt Malone. You can see on your timing tower on the left, if you see it start to turn orange, that's when you know it's getting pretty close. Yellow, they're about half a second or so away. White, they are definitely more than a second away. So at the moment, it looks like things are calming down just a little bit. As I say that, looks like Hubchak is going to try to hold on to this position, but look out, because here comes Stephen Price.
Yep, Price and Puchek. Yeah, it's a good battle to look at here coming into Hawthorne's. Side by side again, on the edge corner. They're going to have to lift a little bit more than they would, and looks like they both will do perfectly, but... And now going into Westfield side by side, they're kind of testing their luck here. It's even Arrow Nam, someone like that could easily crash here. And we'll see them do it. They're pretty skillful.
Yeah, they are doing pretty good right now. We saw number 14 and number 12 under investigation. That's Jesse Hodgson is the number 12 car. We'll see exactly what happened between him and Riley Downey. Oof.
Yeah, this corner again. I think Arrow Nam called it. This is the corner where everyone wants to make passes, and if everyone's trying to pass there's bound to be a couple of incidents. And it's pretty much the same exact incident from the one that we saw earlier in the race.
So I'm not going to rub it in. You can see it at the top of the screen. Number 14 does have a 10-second post-race penalty. That is Riley Downey for that incident that you just saw on screen. But that's okay. We're back live again. You can see the top, the gap from Henriquez to Banks to Malone to Nam, really holding steady. As I say that, Malone something must have happened to Banks, because Malone just caught quite a bit of time. But woo! Who was that just got super wide on that turf? Looks like that was Downey. Speaking of Mr. Riley Downey, got super wide. Able to hold on to it, though, and he has to make some positions up now with that 10-second post-race.
Yeah, I know he got wide there, and now it almost looks like it set him up for a good exit coming into Hawthorne. He's side by side right now with that car with Brooks. He makes it stick.
Gonna be able to make it stick for now. Gets around him and going back up here, looking like there's a bit of a battle starting to form with Roy Baker right behind. And we'll see if he can try to make that move around Brooks as well. Looks like Brooks may be struggling just a little bit here in the closing stages. We are at 13 minutes. We've got about 7 minutes left in the race, Brendan. So if you're looking at these gaps right now as it's starting to heat back up between Malone and Banks up front, when do you really start trying to make the move as Banks goes wide?
Banks goes wide, almost loses it.
Oh, he's still almost losing it.
Into braking, he almost loses it again, but looks like he held on to it. Luckily for Malone, I mean, if Banks lost it there, it would have killed Malone. But luckily they all got out of it alive. They're just still side by side through turn 3.
You know, Nom's trying to get clear of Banks as well because look at the time he's losing to Malone and look at the gap that Malone is making up on Henriquez. Just you can see it visibly closing right now.
Yeah, earlier on I was saying, you know, it looks like there's starting to be a gap between first and second and third and fourth. But no, that's all closed up right now. Although it might be extended again if they continue side by side like that, but they don't. And now Aeronam, I think, should be able to pull up to the first and second drivers.
Yeah, we'll see. Malone is definitely no slouch. Looks like he knows what he's doing around this track. Well, I mean, looks like he knows what he's doing really around every track. But he has closed that gap, and he is now on the back of Henriquez. Henriquez under pressure really for the first time all race.
Yeah, just a little bit under 6 minutes to go, and yeah, I'd say the pressure's really coming on right now with Matt Malone right behind you, and then if you're sitting there in first place and you know Matt Malone is behind you, who's really good at passing, and right behind him is Aeronam, you know, I'm kind of holding on for dear life. I kind of have to hope the cards fall in my favor.
So Malone right now, if I'm Matt Malone, I'm definitely trying to kind of size him up a little bit. You know, you've gotten there, but you've got one more position to go, Britton, and I think this might be the toughest one. Holy cow, as they both go extremely wide.
Yeah, it's definitely the toughest one, not only because it's Henriquez in front of you who's going to be doing the defending, and he's very good at defending, but you know, just the mental part of it. This is for first place. It's not for 5th place. It's not for 15th place. This is for first place. And with that on your mind, it's going to put a lot more pressure on you mentally, you know, as well as we see Price go wide at what looks like turn 1. Backing away from the track, hoping that no one else goes wide. Maybe he thinks there's oil down or something, and we'll see it again. But nope, no oil down. Just broke a little bit too late. Hit the asphalt, not the asphalt, the gravel, and just went wide, making a couple of nice drawings there in the gravel.
Absolutely able to get back on track. No damage. He is now behind Edgar Sanchenelli, who still seems to be flashing just a little bit. It is impressive and surprising that Edgar's trying to hold on to this, but this is making it extremely difficult for Price to really know where he is at the moment.
Yeah, and I wonder if that plays a role in drafting too. If their car is gone, do you lose the draft for that split second? Yeah, that'll have to be one. Send an email to iRacing Tech Support and find that out. Maybe
that is a great question, actually. But we don't have the time to answer that right now because Malone is 0.2 of a second back, and it looks like he got a heck of a run coming down here into turn 1 of Paddock Hill. He's going to have a chance with this again. It was where we've seen a lot of incidents. Malone does get a great drive off the corner, though. Is he going to try to go for it? No, Henriquez shuts it down.
We see a lap car up ahead. Maybe that'll play a role in this battle. But, you know, right now I think Matt Malone sees that the gap is almost holding steady right now between him and Aeronam. And if I'm Malone, I know that if I go side by side with the leader right now, it's going to be, you know, it's kind of going to ruin that gap, and Aero's going to catch up. So I think he's only going to pass him if he can get by him before a corner.
He's there.
Will then make Aero have to fight with Henriquez. And yeah, you're right. He's here right now at the exit of this corner. Great run. And if he can pull this off before the corner, that's going to put Henriquez in a very bad spot with Aeronam right next to him.
Well, Henriquez is going to have to go defensive here. Malone goes wide, but he's going to be... Oh, I think he caught the grass and just had to hold on to it. He's in the grass.
We've seen a lot of people crash there, and Matt Malone did not crash there. Good on him. A lot of car control from him. But now look at Aeronam right there behind Matt Malone, and you know I wouldn't be surprised to see him make a one of those Aeronam moves that he makes where you don't think you can make a pass, but he'll get it done somehow.
How is it always these two drivers of Aero Nom and Matt Malone together at the end of the race? No matter if you, Randall, you can invert the grid, you can do heat races. It's always the same drivers up here battling. It is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, the stars are aligning, I guess, clearly for a reason right now. As we see Matt Malone want to make a move into turn one. He's going to make a move into turn one. How are they going to come out of this one?
No!
Almost contact. Matt Malone had to really get on the brakes there as Henriquez almost chopped his nose off. But now Aero Nom is getting by Matt Malone, and now Matt Malone is in P3, almost going to be P4 with Baker there, or Banks trying to pass him. But now, right now, Henriquez went from looking at Matt Malone in the mirror to looking at Aero Nom in the mirror, and that would be the most terrifying sight if I was in his car.
If I am Matt Malone right now, I am absolutely fuming. Had the line, Henriquez just came across and chopped the nose. Nothing wrong, no contact. But now Malone's going, all right, Aero, your turn. You've got 2 minutes to get him. Maybe Malone now sitting. We've seen this in the past where the two drivers come together. Malone actually at Watkins Glen was actually benefited from that as they went through the bus stop.
Yeah, this is coming out to be almost a perfect end to the race as we see the two front two go side by side. But yeah, I've been saying this all race. Matt Malone takes advantage of the two cars ahead of him.
Oh, it's getting tight. Malone cuts it.
At Sheen.
Oh, he's on the grass. He's holding on to it. I'm not breathing. I gotta breathe. My goodness, Malone and Nom and Malone and Nom, and Nom does not give way. Malone bounces off of him down into fourth place.
Oh, looks like it shook the headlights loose on my screen. Its headlights flashed and then flickered off. But yeah, that was too bad to see. It it's really shaping out to be what probably would have been a very good result for Matt Malone. It still will be a very good result for Matt Malone in P4, but no, that was almost, may have almost been a win as we go on to the final lap. Henriquez has a pretty big gap right now after that contact between Aero and Malone. He might be looking like he might win this race.
Yeah, he's looking like it. I wouldn't put it past Aero. Randall McGrew goes to show that Aero can do it with on-track passes too, not just a hot lapper. Yeah, he knows what he's doing for sure. So right now we do have Luis Henriquez up in the lead. Nom's going to do everything he can to try to track him down. But I don't think it's going to be enough time, Brennan, as they're going to come across and down Pilgrim's Drop, down Hawthorne Hill, and into the bend.
I think it's going to have to be another commentator's curse from you to have Aero Nom win this. Henriquez looks like he's pulled up enough of a gap to win this race. But I just said it, so something will probably go wrong with him. Or maybe Scott Banks will try to pass Aero. Who knows what could happen in this final half of the lap.
Yeah, who knows indeed. We're trying to look here to see if we have any battles going on. It looks like Hodgson's actually closed right up on the back of Brooks at the moment. He's actually going to go for a move maybe. This is going to be where it's going to have to get done very quickly. And you can see there, first, second, and third, they're down the backstretch. Got about one corner to go. You can see the interval up there. We're going to stay on this battle, though, at the moment between Hodgson and Brooks. See if Hodgson can get the move done to take P10.
Yeah, it looks like Henriquez is going to win this race. And that was a good battle from him. But yeah, Hodgson's back here trying to make a move within a couple corners left. But
it doesn't look like he's going to...
sealed.
Yeah, looks like everything's going to be kind of sealed up at the moment unless Hodgson can do something crazy. Man, that looks like an F1 wing. The back of that wing is all kinds of bent up, but still making it work. Hodgson going to come across the line 11th, right behind Scott Brooks, who rounds out the top 10. Now we're just going to watch, see what we got going on up here. Looks like we just got drivers still driving. Maybe get some post-race celebrations from some of these guys as we wait for everybody to join interview waiting. But what do you think, Brennan? That was... I'm not going to say it was boring. I promise. Because it wasn't.
No.
But it was still very great racing, just not the passing opportunities that we've seen. And these drivers made passes work that nobody else could ever make work.
I would not have been able to do that. It's, especially with these beasts of cars, it's, quite the job by him. Good race, though. Like you said, it's, I said at the beginning we're going to see a lot of desperate moves, and we did. And there wasn't really anything wrong with the moves, and we saw that most of them were ruled as racing incidents. So it just shows that these guys are ready to fight whenever possible. And with only 20 minutes here in each race at a tight track like this, it shows that they have the fighting spirit in them, along with the kind of endurance spirit for the longer races.
Yeah, absolutely. And I had this issue with the Spec 5 World Tour last Thursday. It doesn't look like the results are going to pull up because of this heat race format. Just overlay gets a little bit out of sorts here, but I can tell you the top 3 in the pro class was Luis Enriquez, followed by Nam, with a crazy battle with Matt Malone on the final lap. It was Scott Banks coming home third. Roy Baker takes home first for first in class for the AMS. In 9th overall, Scott Brooks. 10th overall, second in class, with Jesse Hodgson rounding out your top 3 for the AM class. And still sitting here waiting, see if we can get some people in here, Brendan. But you kind of went over it, and I want to say again, we have Randall McGrew looking for sponsors here for the American Muscle Series for Season 3. As we did mention, the racing is good. The racing brings spectators and viewers. Again, the Watkins Glen race from last week is already at 2.4 thousand views. And that is saying something about this league, not slow motion broadcasting, because we just started. So if this is something you guys are interested in for sponsoring, reach out to Randall at rmcgrew@gmail.com or finny.mcfinger #6697 on Discord. Looks like we've got a couple guys in here for interviews, and it's appearing like we've got Scott Banks here, 3rd in overall and 3rd in class. Brennan, I'll let you have him. There he is, Scott Banks.
Hey, Scott, we saw a lot of excitement here tonight, and we saw you be a part of that excitement multiple times. Of course, you finished in P3 overall in this race. A lot of shuffling around there on the final few laps. Walk me through that.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. That whole race, the start, I wasn't sure we were going to make it, but we all got through there. And then I was just trying to hold on towards the end, hold on to Luis. And then there were a couple places I was better than him and a few places that I knew I couldn't really touch him. So I didn't want to make any dumb moves. And then once Arrow and Matt caught us, I didn't really have anything for Arrow and Matt, I don't think, unless they really got racing. So again, kind of like last week, my goal was just hang in there in 3rd or 4th, and if a couple of them end up taking each other out, then I'll walk into 2nd. If not, I'll take 4th and keep the consistency going to try to hold 2nd in points.
We were talking to Aeronam at the between these two races tonight, and he said that turn 2 was really where he wanted to make the passes, where he felt like that would be an easy spot to make the passes. Did you feel like that too, or did you feel like at the end of the long straight at the back half of the course, did you feel like that was a better spot?
So yeah, the hairpin is always the main place that I go for passes, especially because getting a good run down that hill, you get like extra momentum into that corner. And then turn 5, up that corner up the hill, it's frustrating for me because I'm so inconsistent out of turn 4 that turn 5 is probably my best corner on the whole course, but I mess up turn 4 2 out of 3 times, and so I miss a lot of opportunities up there. But inside or outside, going up that corner up the hill is always my favorite place to pass, and a lot of people back out of that.
Well, it looks like you're in P2 in the you were coming into this race in P2, and I'm sure you may have extended your points lead by a little bit. Of course, Aeronam is a few hundred points ahead of you, but we're coming up to the end of the season here. Do you have any worries about what could happen in the next race if you crash or something like that, or are you pretty comfortable? Is there any pressure on you for next race?
No, my only worry is how the drop weeks are going to work out, because we have 4 drop weeks, and I've been almost too consistent, I feel. So when we start dropping those, I don't have any bad finishes. I don't have any great finishes, but there's some people behind me, I think, that are going to gain more points on me. So I'm really going to have to shoot for 2nd or 3rd next week to at least stay in the top 3 here.
Yeah, we're going to have to definitely keep an eye on that. Well, Scott, good races tonight.
Thank you.
And is there anyone that you want to thank tonight for your effort?
I want to thank my fantastic wife for putting up with this ridiculous obsession over the last several years. And letting me sit here and pretend I'm racing like this every night. And it's great to race with this group of guys every week.
Well, Scott, congrats tonight, and we hope to talk to you next week, which is, I think, the final race of the season.
Yep. Thank you. See you next week.
Yeah.
Right.
So Scott mentioned there, first of all, third overall, third in class, but he said he wanted to thank his wife for letting him pretend like he's a race car driver. Well, I want to thank my fiance while I've got the chance, before we drag in Luis Enriquez here, for letting me pretend like I am a broadcaster and shouting at virtual race cars every week. So, yeah, we've all got our little clicks, but anyways, that's enough of that. We've got Luis Enriquez here, first place overall, first in class for race number 2. Luis, welcome in. Congratulations.
Hey, thanks, man.
How was that? We watched a pretty fierce battle. I mean, throughout the whole race, and you had to really start making some moves on some people to get back up front. We talked to Iro Nam before the beginning of race number 2. He said it was tough to pass, and you guys both you were up 6 places, Iro up 8 to finish first and second, so apparently you guys made it look easy.
Yeah, so I wasn't expecting to win this. Like, it was just a matter of running out the clock and hope that it sticks. But I knew from the start that from the moment that the race started, it was going to be either get in front of everyone as fast as I can, or I'm just going to get run over. So it was more of a drastic attempt, I would say, or more aggressive driving on my part. Well,
it was aggressive, and it paid off. For those of you listening, if you are amateur iRacers, please don't do what Luis just tried to do and get aggressive, because this guy knows what he's doing when he gets aggressive. But anyways, with that being said, Luis, were there any tire issues tonight? Did they start to wear out towards the end of the 20 minutes, or was everything pretty steady throughout the whole race, as we just watched you barely avoid Joe Edward?
Yeah, apart from that scare at the beginning, the tires were pretty much equal. There wasn't really any wear on either the front or the rears, but I knew that if you overdrive this car, you'll overheat the tires and you'll be slow. There's just no grip, so it's really tough to keep the pace consistent, but enough to be ahead of the guy behind you. Otherwise, you're gonna get in front basically, or get overtaken. Yeah.
So as you got towards the end of the race, Matt Malone was coming, and so was Iro, and then got into a bit of an incident. Were you starting to check your mirrors a little more? Did you think you were going to come under fire there, and do you think you would have been able to hold him?
Well, it's kind of a 50-50 kind of thing. Like, I only take a peek at the mirror just to know where they are, but not really whether they're close or not, because I've been racing against Matt and Iro a few times, pretty much for years now. So, I know what they're gonna do. I know what are gonna be their moves. Like, I know if we're gonna go side by side, they're gonna put it on the line, and I gotta put it on the line too. And I know there's not gonna be any bad blood in between each of us after the move. Like, I would do it as well if I was in Matt's place or in Errol's place. So it's a fair move, and I just try to put my car in a position where I just leave it to destiny, whatever happens after that.
Absolutely. Well, it is absolutely amazing watching you guys battle it out on track every week. Anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to shout out? But actually, before I ask you that, final race next week, going to Sebring. How you feeling about it?
I've raced there before. It's really, really fun. It's going to be another track where you have to be patient and keep up with the leaders. I'm predicting it's going to be a bit of a really, really close gaggle in between. So it's going to be about picking your spots, and I feel pretty confident for it. I'm not sure if I'll have enough pace to win it, but I'll just try to keep up with the leaders and see if I can scoop up a few spots here and there.
All right. Well, I hope you can as well and put on another good show like you did tonight. But anybody you want to thank, anybody you want to shout out before you let you go?
Specifically want to shout out to Sunshine Autos League. The guys over there, they actually gave me a baseline setup to work with that's really, really good. And it's not going to give me an edge, but it gives me more comfort when I'm driving the car. And they just want to get a shout out. And it's also to Riley. I believe his birthday was yesterday. So there you go.
Well, there you go. Absolutely. Thank you for shouting out a fellow league member there, Luis. But, hey, man, have a great Tuesday night. And hopefully we talk to you next week, same time.
Hey, you too as well, guys. Keep up the great work. I love watching back the broadcast whenever I get the chance.
All right. Thank you, man. Have a good night. And that was Luis Enriquez there, finishing first in class first overall, and now we have Eero Nam. We interviewed Eero before the race, and I just want to mention before I let you have him, Brennan, he said it was going to be tough to pass.
Yes, Arrow did say that, but, well, he started 10th, or almost 10th, started 9th, and is in P2 right now. Arrow, we saw you going by a lot of people, a lot of over-under moves, under-over moves. You passed people in corners and on the straights. Walk me through how you did that, man, because for me, I would not have been able to do it.
Yeah, it's pretty much just survival, so yeah, I try to be very careful, especially in the first few laps, and just see how it goes. But yeah, it was, I don't know how it went, but yeah.
Now, as the time started ticking down, it looked like the top 4 and 5 kind of started to spread out, but you came back in there and closed all the gaps up. Were you worried about not being able to pass a couple more people to get up into the spot that you're in now as the clock started ticking down, or did you feel like you had the upper edge on people? Of course, being one of the fastest people at this track.
Yeah, it's not easy to pass, so yeah, I was just following Matt, see what he does, and I try to be close, so if he passes somebody, I can just go with him, and that worked out pretty good. I think I did 3 passes like that, so yeah.
Now, walk me through that final lap incident that it looked like you had with Matt Malone. Camera angle doesn't always show everything, so what was your view on that one? Of course, that was pretty much for P2.
Yeah, I think I left plenty of room, but on my screen at least there was 1 feet between us, and then was net code, the first one, and the second one I was already turning in, and then Matt turned into me, so I don't know.
Well, Arrow, you already had a perfect season, and now after this perfect season, you're getting another great finish here in P2. I know you already shouted some people out, but is there anyone else that you want to shout out now tonight for your great race?
Yeah, I want to thank all the drivers here and the Pini for the organizing this week, and I want to thank you there in the booth.
Well, Arrow, congratulations. Adam, is there anything you want to say?
No, I think we're good, Arrow. Thank you for the good racing again, week in, week out. Thank you for thanking us, but we want to thank you, Arrow. Congratulations on a great season, and hope to see you again next week. I know we'll be talking to you next week, probably.
Let's see.
All right. That was Eero Nam there in second place overall there for race 2, second place in class, and that is going to round out our interviews for the night, and we are going to wrap it up here. Brendan, any final thoughts?
No, I think this heat format was really gave us a show. Of course, we're not really looking at strategy as much as we would be in the long 1 hour races, but of course, when you're not looking at strategy, we're looking at a lot of tight battles here, and I think that's worth a lot, and it's exciting the whole race. Yeah, it really was, and my final thoughts are, I don't want this to end, but next week, last race of season 2. It's been a great run. Going to shout out Randall again for bringing slow motion broadcasting on, untested, unproven, and watching that Watkins Glen race just keep climbing through the views, and watching the subscribers jump every time we have an American Muscle Series race on is pretty cool to see. So please get a hold of Randall if you're looking to sponsor a great league and great drivers, great turnout every week. I think the least amount of cars we had was Nürburgring, and I mean, that was still a great race. So please, email is rmcgrew@gmail.com. You can see it at the bottom of the screen here, and his Discord is finny.mcfinger #6697. So with that being said, that will round out our race 12 and 13 of American Muscle Series, brought to you by Slow Motion Broadcasting. We were here at Brands Hatch tonight. Next week, headed to Sebring. We hope to see you guys then. Have a great Tuesday night. Have a great weekend. My name is Adam Thompson. In the commentary booth with me was Brennan Horn. And finally, happy birthday, Riley Downey. I hope you get to celebrate it right, buddy.